Hi, good morning, and welcome to the Nature and Wildlife Discovery Center. I'm Diana, and this beautiful creature beside me, this is Aquila, and she is a lovely golden eagle who lives here at our Raptor Center. We hope that we find you today being well and a little happy perhaps that some of the stay-at-home orders have been lifted a little bit more. We are still closed to visitors at the Raptor Center, but hopefully in another month or so we'll be back open for you to visit. But just to keep in touch with you, can make our social connections, Aquila and I are going to visit with you this morning about golden eagles, which Aquila is. So goldens are I've been working with raptors now for over 35 years, and I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite species. They're not only just huge and beautiful, but they're intelligent and incredible birds. I'm really fond of golden eagles, and I've known Aquila for 34, well actually, gosh, Aquila, she's gonna be 36 this year, so she and I have actually been working together for 35 years. And when I first started at the center, Aquila was just in the beginning stages of her training to be an educational bird. So we've kind of learned together over the years, and we've been doing a lot of programming, of course, over that time. Well, golden eagles are fairly common throughout the northern hemisphere of the world. So that means not only could you find them here in North America, but if you were to travel to, say, Scotland or Russia, this is a species that you could find. They are, of course, very large. Aquila is a female, so she weighs about 11 pounds. And if we had a male with us, they would weigh about 8 pounds. In birds of prey, most species, the girls actually are larger than the boys, and in some species, they can be up to 1/3 larger than their male counterpart. So next time you're out and about and you see two birds of prey sitting together, the bigger one's probably the girl and the smaller one is the male. And there's obviously some strategies to help with that. These birds tend to hunt in the same territory. Goldens, being such a large predator, they take a lot of small to medium-sized animals. In the western U.S., their most common diet is jackrabbits. They also eat cottontails, prairie dogs. If they're in the high country, they might feed on marmots. And surprisingly, they're intelligent enough and powerful enough that they can actually hunt prey the size of pronghorn antelope and mountain goats. So this is a pretty amazing predator and can be very successful. They'll also sometimes scavenge on fish. I've heard stories from ice fishermen where they've been fishing and they laid their fish out on the ice after they caught them, and goldens as well as bald eagles have come in and stolen their dinner. So they'll do that. They'll also feed on birds sometimes during hunting seasons, especially in the winter months. You might see goldens and especially bald eagles following the the flocks of geese. And during hunting season, you know, hunters sometimes don't find everything that they shoot, and so the eagles can scavenge on those animals. So this is a very smart bird and just majestic. Now they get the name golden eagle because of, let me see if she'll let me turn her a little bit, the golden feathers on the back of the head. So you can see she's got those beautiful gold feathers back there, and that gold color ranges quite a bit from kind of a dark gold like Aquila has to just a pale blonde, and that's a striking bird. When we get in an injured golden that has that blonde head, boy, everybody's taking pictures because it's just the stark contrast between the beautiful brown face and then that dark, wash of blonde, if you will, on the back of the head. So they do get the name golden because of that. They also, in the right light, if you see this bird in the right sunlight, because of the brown feathers, when the sun strikes, it sort of gives the bird kind of a golden aura around it, which is appropriately gives them the name golden eagle. They're a common bird, and a lot of countries have them as their national bird, and they're on a lot of flags and money throughout the northern hemisphere. So it's a really cool bird of prey. Now, Aquila, of course, being a bird of prey, her job is to hunt animals. So to help her catch rabbits or marmots and things like that, prairie dogs, she, of course, has to find them. So she has a very beautiful set of eyeballs. And what's really kind of interesting to be able to see these guys and be close to them is to be able to look really close into her eye. Now, being, she's so beautiful. I love being able to get so close to Aquila because she has the most striking golden eye. And when you look into it, it's like the whole wisdom of the world is in there. And I wish I could tap into it because she knows so much more than I do. But she has this beautiful golden eye to help her search. Now, raptor vision is complicated, just like our vision is. But since she's a day hunter, her eyes are engineered for long distance vision. And depending on the research, they have anywhere from 2 to at least 4 times the distance vision that we have, and perhaps up to 8 times the resolution or focusing power that we have. So to try to give you an idea of what that might be, think about if you see a rabbit run. You see a rabbit running across the field, and usually we can identify that it's a rabbit because we can see its shape as it's moving, and that shape of the rabbit tells us, hey, there's a rabbit moving. But if we had Aquila's eyes, perhaps not only would we see the shape of the rabbit, but we could also perhaps from a distance be able to focus in on the details of the rabbit running. So she might be able to see the muscles moving, just a lot of things that you and I can't pick up at a great distance. Her eyes can. So she's just a phenomenal set of eyes to look for her prey. Now, once she spots her prey, it's of course time to give chase, and that is where her wings come in. So she usually would be placed someplace up high. Birds of prey, again, like usually to be aloft, so she might be soaring on her magnificent wings, or she might be sitting up on the edge of a cliff or on the top of a power pole and using those eyes to search. And so once she gets an eye on that prey, it's time to chase. So she has a magnificent set of wings. So we're kind of in a tight space here, but I'm going to see if she'll open a little bit for you. So she has majestic wings. Her wings are roughly 7 feet wide. We actually did one day ask Aquila to hold still long enough. We kind of held her, and each of us stretched out a wing, and we took a measuring tape from tip to tip, and she was 7 feet across. So she has a huge wing. And I don't know if you noticed, they're wide and rounded at the edges, and that's a wing for high-speed flight and for soaring or gliding, and it's a really magnificent tool for them. So as she's spotting it soaring around, she can, just like a falcon or a hawk, she will go into a high-speed dive through the sky down to the ground after the prey, and in that flight she's capable of reaching a lot of speeds. You're looking at anywhere from 80 to 120 miles an hour coming in on her prey. So just imagine for a moment that it's you and there's a 10-pound bowling ball coming at you at 100 miles an hour. That would be quite a painful hit. It would definitely do some serious damage to you. And that's what it would be like if there was a golden eagle. If you were a jackrabbit and a golden eagle were about to strike you, she'd be hitting you with her feet. And of course, she has magnificent feet. Let me hold her up high here for a second so you can just take a look at those awesome feet. So as she's coming in, she's going to change her wing position, probably slow herself down a little bit. And then at the last second, the feet are forward and in grabbing position, and they're very large. Aquila's feet are basically the size of my hand. They're very powerful, and I don't know if you can see the length of those talons. It's just incredible, the strength that she has. So those talons are going to reach out and grab. Now, birds of prey are known for the power, the strength in their feet, and Aquila is no exception. In fact, they're amazingly powerful. Now, different books say different things, but basically, on average, a golden eagle has probably at the very least 300 pounds of pressure per square inch in their grip. And let me tell you, I've been on the receiving end of a golden eagle in a bad mood. It hurts, and those talons are easily driven through your soft tissue of your calf muscle with no problem. So she can grab hold of that prey, and if it's something small, she could literally just crush it and squeeze it to death with her toes. Or, of course, when she does grab hold of prey with all that power, she's going to drive those talons into the prey, probably hitting something vital, like maybe puncturing the lungs or damaging the liver, causing the animal to bleed out or not be able to breathe, and help her to kill it very, very quickly. She doesn't really want to struggle with her prey because, of course, the more the prey fights back, there's a greater chance that, one, it could escape, or two, she could get injured as well. We see eagles coming in, and they are missing talons, they are missing toes. So you know that that animal fought back, and she, got injured. So they do sometimes the prey actually wins. These guys don't get their prey every time. They're only successful 40 to 50%. So it is a rough life out there for a predator finding your food. Once, of course, she's caught and killed that prey, she gets to eat it, and that's where that beautiful, massive beak comes in to help her tear her food into chunks that she can swallow. If the animal is small enough, she'll eat the whole thing because, of course, raptors are carnivores, meaning they eat animals, and they have to get all their nutrients from the animals that they eat. So she will eat the bones and fur, organs, all of those things are going to go in. So she does need to eat the whole animal. If it's a big animal, she may just eat the meat, maybe some of the smaller bones, and leave things behind. She'll also scavenge, you know, dead deer on the side of the road could easily be food for a golden eagle. And in fact, that was actually something that Aquila was doing when she got hurt. Aquila was struck by a truck. She was a young bird. It was her first year. It was in the fall, on her own at that point. Mom and Dad were no longer supporting her and wasn't probably doing very well because she was pretty skinny when she arrived. She was probably struggling. It's very hard once Mom and Dad kick you out to make it on your own. And they, unlike us, eagle parents do not allow you to come back home. So it's tough luck. You're just going to have to figure it out on your own. So she was feeding on what I'm sure for her was life-saving food, which was a dead deer on the side of the road. And unfortunately, as the truck approached, she spooked and she tried to flush up and away. And unfortunately, the truck hit her, and it hit her in the shoulder. And luckily for Aquila, the gentleman in the truck stopped, and he went back down to see what he had done to the bird. He felt really bad about hitting her, and he found her lying in the ditch unconscious because she did have a head injury as well. He was able to safely scoop her up and wrap her up in a blanket, really taut, snugly, so she couldn't get out. And he managed to get a hold of Colorado Parks and Wildlife, met up with an officer who then made arrangements to transfer her to the closest Raptor Center. And at this time, this was out by Grand Junction, so he was calling our organization as well as the Birds of Prey Foundation up in Denver, and it came down to, well, it's about the same distance. Which one can I get to first? And he was trying to figure out, how do I get this bird across the mountains and to one of these centers? And he had the brilliant idea of checking in with the post office. And he found out there was a truck leaving for Gunnison and then Pueblo very soon, and that was the quickest route. So the Postal Service agreed to put her on the mail truck, and our staff picked her up in the middle of the night in Pueblo and took care of her from there. And the really nice thing about it is the Postal Service did not charge postage. So yay, Postal Service. So she came via the mail. But when she got to us, she did have a damaged shoulder. She had a fracture of her humeral bone right at the shoulder socket. Very difficult to repair. She also had soft tissue injuries and some wounds, and it took a long time for it to heal. But unfortunately for Aquila, because of the calcification and the tendon and ligament and muscle damage in that shoulder, she was never able to fly. The staff did try very hard with physical therapy, trying to get her flighted, but after several months of trying, they realized this is never going to happen for this bird. She's not going to fly. So they asked permission from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and Colorado Parks and Wildlife if she could remain in our care and be trained for an educational animal. And that's, of course, what happened. So she has been at our center now since 1984, and obviously has been doing very well and thriving all those years. And it's been my honor and pleasure to have spent my adult life hanging out with this beautiful creature. She's just really special to me. She's kind of, well, actually, I'm kind of her bird. In Birds of Prey, when you have a relationship with them for a long time in a captive situation, they sort of look to you as sometimes as a mate. So during breeding season, I'm the boyfriend. So when I come into her enclosure, I better be bringing a present during breeding season, which means either a stick for her nest if she's building one, or I better be bringing food or something fun. I have to bring her a gift. Now, fortunately, hormones are settling down and she is coming out of breeding season, so I no longer have to worry about bringing gifts. And she's actually being very calm and quiet and doing a great job today for us. And she's just a sweetheart of a bird. I really enjoy Aquila very, very much. She's my favorite. I hope she feels that way about me. I like to think that. So far, so good. But we're so excited that you could join us today. Our campuses are, of course, open. The mountain campus is open again, and so is the river campus for you to come out and enjoy. And of course, keep practicing your social distancing. We're not out of the woods yet with this virus. We want everyone to be safe and well. Wear a mask if you are going to be around a crowd to protect others. And of course yourself in the long run. We want everyone to be happy and healthy and things to get back to normal as soon as we can. If you have questions, we will be running camps this year. We're still working with the state of Colorado and the entities that supervise the rules and regulations around camps, how we're going to do that with social distancing with the kids and keeping them safe and well. But if you are interested in learning more about our camps, you can, of course, visit our website, which is hikeandlearn.org. And we'd love for you to learn more. Hopefully, in another month or so, perhaps the lodge will be opening back up for reservations on a limited basis. So we're getting there. We're starting to open up. Of course, here at the Raptor Center, we're still busy. We're still starting to get birds of prey in. Great horned owls are fledging right now. We've been fortunate enough to put, actually, so far so good, all the ones that we've dealt with have been able to return to their parents. We actually just returned one the other day up in El Paso County, so that was really good. I hope tomorrow, if you get a chance, you'll be able to tune in or check out later in the day on Facebook, because we have a real special day. First thing in the morning, we're going to pack up and load a turkey vulture. He came in a couple of weeks ago from La Junta area. He was very, very thin and very weak. Probably had a rough time on migration. Also, there had been some pretty good storms in that area of eastern Colorado. So he came in very weak and very thin. And he's been eating really well, exercising. He's out in the big flight enclosure, and he's flying like a champ. So we're going to load him up tomorrow morning. We're going to drive him back out to La Junta to where I think we're headed, to a wildlife area near, north of La Junta, and we're going to release him with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. If I have a good Wi-Fi or a good internet connection on my phone, we'll broadcast that live at 11:30. If not, there won't be a Weekend Raptor Talk at 11:30, but as soon as I get back into Pueblo, I'll post his release for all of you to see on Facebook, of course. Well, we hope, Aquila and I hope, that you will have a lovely day. It's a gorgeous day here in southern Colorado. I know we're looking forward to doing some cleaning in cages and being outdoors and enjoying the day ourselves. Hopefully you will all be well and stay healthy. Thank you again for tuning in and visiting the Nature and Wildlife Discovery Center, and we'll keep doing these weekend talks on Facebook until we can have you here live with us. Have a great day.